Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry. Let me just get this focused for you guys. Adam, morning. All right, hello. Hey, guys, sorry, just having a little snack before we start, so I'm not getting hangry during the stream. But good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. The Marcosius is here. Just a moment. I think it's here. Well, interestingly, I thought it's here, which I think it's here in this drawer. If not, interesting. I thought it was here in this drawer, but apparently not. That said, there is other stuff in there, and it's around somewhere. Anyway, let's just say that. I definitely didn't lose it. It's around. It's either in this drawer and I'm just not seeing it, or oh no, it's right there. Sorry, I already have it out. See, I already have it out of the drawer. It's right over there. So don't worry. Anyway, yeah, let's get into it. Gonna build the Lfrith here first for today, and then we'll build the Gine Standard armor. Also want to build the Lfrith here just for not really any other reason, but that just kind of felt like it. Wanted to start with the backpack of the Lfrith pre-production, as that's the majority of the new parts are obviously in the backpack. There's a couple of new parts for the head. Otherwise, the rest of the arms and legs, if I remember correctly, are all exactly the same. So let's get into it. Good morning, Revan, David. He's out of coffee. Oh, no, certainly not out of coffee. I'm kind of just getting started on my coffee, actually. It's just kind of been sitting here because before starting the stream, I was working on actually, interestingly enough, getting some parts ready for a different live stream that I'm hoping to do tomorrow if I can get everything ready in time. That would be part 2 of the live stream building of the Zoids Gojalus kit. I'm trying to get everything ready so that I can do part 2 of that tomorrow afternoon, Friday afternoon. But yes, it just depends if I can or not, but I'm trying for it. So with that in mind, I'm going to try to get through these couple, just snapping together these couple of HGs here for today's live build pretty quickly. It should be, like, the majority of the Lfrith is a really quick build. It's just the backpack. It's my first time building the backpack. It might take a minute or so, but everything else should go pretty quickly. So yes, how are you guys all doing today, Thursday? And if you guys haven't seen, earlier this week, I not only had an update video for the Old to Gold contest, but I also had a work in progress video of starting my own Old to Gold build, and that's the other thing that I've been working on this week. So my build is going fine so far. It's kind of just getting started. It's kind of still in the monotonous stages of just a lot of filing and sanding and kind of working on just getting everything to a point where I can like start putting stuff together and all that. So it's not, I can't say it's very fun so far, but it's getting there. Anyway, it's kind of the necessary steps to get to the more fun part of the build. for right now, it's off to a good start. So here on the Lfrith, oh, actually, well, let's see. Let me put these parts on here first. Each of these little gun bits has a sticker. You guys will notice here. I'll show you that in more detail in just a moment. I think we have 10 in each rack, and then we've got the 2 racks on the backpack, right? So a lot of these little stickers. But all right. One Spell said, welcome back from vacation. And there was a, I think David also mentioned asking about how was my vacation. Anyway, yes, thank you for welcoming me back. And my vacation was fine. I mean, it was a vacation to visit my parents. I went up and basically stayed with my parents there. So it's not like we went to like anywhere exotic or anything like that. So just up to my hometown in Illinois. But good to see my family and check out some of the local spots there. We have a really good like local ice cream chain, which is great. Had that a couple times. This is new, so it wasn't there like last time I was there, but now there's a great new local coffee shop too, which I really enjoyed while we were there because I needed that every day. But yeah, so it's good. Just in time, yes. Are you planning to explore 3D printing, Revan? Not for my old to gold build. As in, if I'm planning to explore it just like in general more in the future, probably not. I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. I definitely don't think that I would have mostly the time to like really get into like designing parts. So it's just a matter of if I had a printer and if I just had some files that I could print. I mean, I might do that, I guess. But it's just kind of one of those things that I don't really have that much interest in, I guess. Who knows? I could just be very late to the game, and then, you know, a year from now, as it's just continuing to get more and more popular, be like, oh yeah, maybe I want to try that, and then I'll be like the last one doing it. But no, there's certainly, I mean, you guys have seen, I've used 3D printed parts and 3D printed kits and stuff. So I mean, there's good stuff that you can make with that technology for sure. Is Japanese paints brand have a starter kit? I know some European brands. So I'm not really too aware of many like starter kits from like Tamiya or like Mr. Hobby or anything like that. Mr. Hobby, I have seen, and I'm sure Tamiya has these as well. It's very possible Tamiya has some kind of basic paint starter kit. Probably would be acrylic. I have seen like Mr. Color sets. I think I might have one here. Let me show you. No. Where would it be? No. Here you go. Like this. So sometimes they'll have like sets like this. Gaia has these too, I believe, sometimes, where it's just like a box of, it's usually like 4 paints in here, and so like this one is a set of specifically like skin tone paints for painting skin tone. Sometimes they'll be like an Evangelion set where it'll be like 4 different colors that are for like specifically like an Evangelion series or something like that. So they do have these sets. I'm not sure if there's any that are like for like beginners, which would just be like a basic color set of like black, white, red, yellow, blue. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I don't think that I've ever seen anything quite like that. But the thing with those color sets, like the one that I was just showing you, is that I don't know if those are usually sold much in the US. So I think even though that like Mr. Hobby does make some sets like that, I'm not sure, depending on where you live, I'm not sure how widely those would be available outside of shops in Japan. All right. These stickers are slightly too large, which is unfortunate. So like they kind of stick out a little bit. I'm trying my best with them, and like you could probably maybe do a little bit better than what I'm doing, but yeah, they're very slightly too large. Let me show you. It's gonna be hard for you guys to tell, because I mean, as far as you can see, I mean, they probably look okay. I like how I'm seeing it there on camera, but hopefully you can see like it's a recessed detail there, and so you kind of have to press the sticker in and around the inside of there. And I feel like the sticker should be slightly smaller, because it's still like I have it pressed in there, like it's still kind of sticking up around the lip of that detail there. So it doesn't look bad, especially from a distance, and if you're not seeing it up close or anything. But again, some of you guys may opt to, if you have the kit or if you get the kit, you may opt to just not put those stickers on at all, not use the stickers. It would be an easy detail to paint if you have just a metallic green Gundam marker. As always, I would advise you guys not to actually try using the marker directly on the part. Just put the marker into a little paint dish and use a small brush and just brush it on there. It will be pretty easy. And then, especially if you're not painting the entire kit, easy to clean up as well. So you can do that. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hey, MJ. George said, I just started building the HG Shinanju. I bought it together with its RG water slide decals. Going to have fun building and painting. Yes. The only issue that you may run into with that is you may know, or you may have noticed, or you may not have noticed yet, is that I believe, if I remember correctly, the water slides are made for the RG, and the RG, just like the details and the shapes of the armor, will be slightly different. So you may run into, like, if you have, especially some of those like lining decals, they're usually like in white, and I can't remember exactly what the decals look like for the RG Shinanju, but those like white line decals that kind of like follow the outer edge of like an armor or something part, you might find that on the HG version that they don't fit exactly right, just because the details of the RG be like slightly different. Most everything should work, but just saying that some decals may not fit exactly. Although, again, as far as I can remember, the design, I mean, there's not really much of the design that would be changed too drastically in terms of like the size and shape of different parts of the armor. On some kits, I think that would be much more of an issue. Like, say, for example, you got decals, like especially like for a contest like the Old to Gold contest that's going on right now. If you were working on like an old Zaku kit, let's say, for example, like an old 80s Zaku kit, and you got some decals that are made for like the HG the Origin Zaku, and those include like some of those lining parts that go around, like the white lines that go around like the bottom of the legs or something like that, and you try to use those on the old 80s kits, they wouldn't fit. Like the angles and the length and everything of the decals wouldn't exactly work. You could cut the decals and reshape the decals, and you can do different things to make them fit, but Yeah. Right, just because it's the same mobile suit, different decals don't always fit different model kits. That's all I'm trying to say. Are Gundam markers also good for customs? Generally, I would say not really. Gundam markers have their uses, and their uses are specialized, but not not so varied. I don't know how can I say this. Yeah, Gundam markers can be useful in certain circumstances. Generally, I would say not that useful, but it also depends on what exactly you want to do as far as your custom work. If you're just like, if you had this kit, for example, and like you're just wanting to not use the stickers and you want to use Gundam markers for these little details, then I would say, yeah, Gundam markers, good way to go. Like I said before, just let the paint out into a dish or whatever, or onto just a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, something. Sometimes when I'm doing like some detail painting and using either like Gundam marker or like a little bit of enamel paint or something like that, that I just need a tiny bit just for like one little detail, I won't even bother like using a little paint dish or something. I'll just put some of the paint just on like my thumbnail or something, so then I can just use a brush and just take it off. Basically using my thumbnail as a palette. You see a lot of people doing that too, either using their actual thumbnail. I just find the nails easier to clean the paint off later, but people will just use their skin or whatever on their hands. You'll see, especially people painting with acrylic paints, like mini painters and stuff, you'll see them with just paint all over their hands. But anyway, yeah, that's the unnecessarily long answer to your question. Gundam markers do have their uses, but yeah, they're not maybe as useful as you might think, depending on what you want to do. What about the real touch markers? Yeah, real touch markers as well. I mean, real touch markers are generally used for like panel lining. You can do sort of like a sort of shading with real touch markers and different weathering techniques that you can do. There's a lot of different ways to do like those exact same weathering techniques. So like Gundam markers are one tool that you can use. The real touch markers are one tool that you can use to do certain types of weathering. There's other tools that also exist that you can do that kind of weathering with as well. So I would say, oh no, this is going to be interesting. Okay. All right, let's see. Hang on. Quite the illustration here demonstrating how to put the doors on the backpack here. Hang on. Well, I guess it's maybe I was looking at this at first thinking like, oh, that's complicated, but maybe not as complicated as I was thinking. But let's see. Possibly. And let's see this one. Okay, yeah, that wasn't too bad. Anyway, it's fun to paint HG and detailing up to look like RG from a distance. Yeah, and this is something that I've talked about before, kind of like how my long lost work in progress on the Marcosius was brought up before, and I do still have it, and I will hopefully at some point come back to that build and finish that. I have a number of work in progress builds that have fallen by the wayside, and but I still have and hope to come back to. One of them is a custom build that I was doing actually on a real grade, and I was on the real grade Freedom Gundam. I've talked about this before. You guys may have heard me mention about it before. I don't think I ever did any kind of video work on it because I basically never even got it to the point where I was ready to like make a video about it. This was also like very early on. This is probably like one of my oldest, like long dead works in progress. But on the real grade Freedom Gundam, and what I was doing with it was trying to do the opposite. Rather than making an HG look like an RG, I was trying to get rid of the details of the RG and make it look like an HG. But so what I'm envisioning there for the RG Freedom custom build that I have in mind is basically it will have all of the part separation of an RG, so it has like all the different parts and everything, but without all like the detail of an RG. So it'll have, you know, very minimal like surface detail. And anyway, I think it should just make for an interesting look. So like I said, it's definitely a custom build I would like to finish at some point. But yeah, that's for another day. Now, that's right. Like that. And this one here. Like that. And it is, hang on. Okay. Got it. Don't think that there's, oh, there is a top and bottom. Well, not really. For this part. Is there? There is. Okay, hang on. That's right. Got it. I think so. We'll see if this is working. If not, oh yeah, I did do something wrong. Okay. That's something that I missed. Those doors are more different than I thought. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, it looks like it's just this side that I messed up on. And the other ones seem to be okay. So let's see. Let me try this other one. I think this one will work out. Okay. There's... Oh, man. It's kind of rough to see. You really kind of have to pay attention here. Excuse me for a moment, guys. So that, yeah, that's right. That white part goes on the top and this one goes on the bottom. It's like the tops and bottoms and left and right sides of these parts, like very minimally different, kind of quite difficult to tell the difference here. But that should be like that. And I think, yeah, I think this side I got right. So, okay, just the other one, I need to like switch the parts around. Nope. Wait. Hang on. What? What? Oh, no, that's right. Okay, sorry. Looking at that thinking like, wait a minute. And these parts are backwards too. Okay, so, all right. Let's see if I can't figure out where I went wrong with this. So that should be like that. And that side should be like that. So that's correct. It's the other side I have backwards. So like the doors are made in a way that they fit together in a certain way, and I just put them on backwards here. Sorry about that. Excuse me while I'm just kind of figuring this out. Now we can do this. It should be all good. There we go. That's better. I like the shape of these parts, how you have basically everything enclosed in here, and the doors open up there like that on the front and the back side like that. Very cool. But once you have kind of everything all closed up, makes this nice, sleek, very ergonomic shape there. Pretty cool. Okay, now let's figure out this other one that I had backwards as well. Wait, come on. There we go. Okay. So this should have been on that side. And not this one on that side, but this one. Okay. Last week is Macross 40th anniversary. Oh, Macross. Oh, do you remember Love? Okay, cool. I've still not seen that, or any Macross for that matter. I know. All right. Do any of you guys know offhand, is any Macross available on Crunchyroll? Because if so, then I could, in theory, watch it on there. I would assume they probably have something or other Macross on Crunchyroll. Oh, that's not all right either. Hang on. Let's try to pay attention here. So we got that. How's it going, Shadow? It's going okay. Had a little bit of a hiccup here so far. That's why I wanted to start with a backpack. I guess maybe it would have been a good idea to start with a different part of the build. Oh, I mentioned earlier the new parts. There's new parts in the chest also, aside from the backpack and the head. Shouldn't forget about that. Anyway, yeah, should have started with a part of the build that's more familiar to me, but let's now go back to the torso here. And well, there we go. I should pre-order the metal build VF4 Lightning 3. Twitch chat. Oh, hello. Space Drive's there on Twitch. Anybody, whoever's there watching on Twitch, hello too as well. I can see you guys chat there on Twitch. That's Zayar saying that's the most common problem with builders. Oh yeah, of course. This is I'm kind of going back up a little bit here in the chat, but yeah, MJ, it's definitely easy to disassemble. I mean, the construction of the HG Witch for Mercury kits, and as I'm sure you've seen as well, the construction of these kits is done in a way that the construction is very simple. I think maybe early on in reviewing some of the earlier kits, I think I may have even mentioned that at times it is sort of reminiscent of the entry grade kits, and that's just kind of been in line with Bandai. And I think, what do they call it? They call it like the fine build system that Bandai kind of started. What's up, Chris? The fine build system, right, is what Bandai started, and they've used for some of the releases like the Maganak and the Leo, and I don't remember if the Windom was kind of a part of that series as well, but it's also similar to 30 minutes missions and kind of what Bandai has been doing a lot with especially these 144 scale kits, like really simplifying the construction process while maximizing the effect, right? So that it's a very simple, easy construction with not a lot of parts, but you get a ton of like articulation and detail, and just it's a really solid construction too. So anyway, that also makes the kits pretty easy to disassemble. Yes, definitely in my experience. So yeah, you shouldn't have too much issue with these. That also extends to the what's that, Kyokai Senki kits as well, I would say. They're also quite simply engineered, but to maximum effect. I'm going to go for the active sticker here, just because it's much more visually interesting, of course, than just having a black sticker under the clear part there. But that also helps to unify this space, because if you didn't put the sticker on at all here under the shell unit, then it would be a mix of black and yellow parts. So even if you're just only using the black sticker, it then at least makes it all black. So we can go ahead and stick our backpack onto our disembodied torso. Would it be disembodied if it's torso? That's like the body. And the waist is, was it immediately following that? No, it's not. Where's the waist? It's only like 3 parts. That's what I have here as well. Here we go. Yeah. Chris, how was my vacation? My vacation was, yeah, as I was saying earlier. Oh, you know what I meant to do? Well, actually, what I would have liked to have done while I was there, we did spend a couple of days in Chicago, but it was like a couple of days that was like jam-packed with, we were trying to do a lot, and we didn't even do like, we ended up not doing some of the stuff that we had wanted to do, and changed our plans, and we were there for really only kind of a short time. So really wouldn't have had much opportunity to try to meet up with anyone, but and just because the plans were kind of so hectic like that, and we were just kind of figuring everything out like right before, in hindsight, I wish if I would have had things planned out a little bit better, it would have been nice to try to meet up with Chris or anybody else in the area. But yeah, what can you do next time? All right, moving on to the arms now, by the way. And yeah, these should be pretty familiar. Although it's been a little while, I kind of have to refresh a little bit. But I think it's pretty straightforward. Pretty much that goes there, this goes here. We don't have, let's see, don't have too many parts here for this. And then it's like that, this, and it was family time. Glad it was good. Chicago has had crazy weather the last few weeks. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, like while we were there, it was hot, but there was nothing else. I mean, like it's nothing too crazy about the weather other than just it was quite hot. Actually, the Sunday, so we were there like Friday evening to Friday evening to Sunday. And Sunday we were planning on going actually to the zoo, the Lincoln Park Zoo there, and actually didn't end up going because number one, it was really hot. Number two, my kids and my cousin's kids, who we were staying with my cousin there, and my kids and my cousin's kids were having a great time just kind of playing at their house. So rather than going to the zoo when it was super hot and doing all that, we decided, all right, we went out for like brunch, and then I think just like hung out at their house for a little bit, and then went and actually on the way home stopped and visited some other family there kind of in the area. Just opted to do that instead. So yep, that's kind of how a lot of the vacation went. Let's see. To get the best P-Banai is through your trusted channel. It's totally costly. I mean, yeah, it just depends. As far as getting P-Banai stuff, I mean, depends on where you live. If you're here in the US, I mean, obviously the best way to get it would just be through the P-Banai website directly. But if it's something that's older, that's not like being reprinted, that you're trying to get your hands on, I mean, then you're just kind of stuck with, you know, whatever prices you can find for stuff online. But I would say too, if you're looking for like an older P-Banai kit or any kind of older Gundam kit or any kind of kit that you might be looking for, you know, you can search your typical places like eBay and whatever. But I would also recommend you guys, if you're on Facebook, to check out, like, there's all sorts of different like buy and sell and trade Facebook pages and stuff. Or I mean, just even if it's not a dedicated buy, sell, trade Facebook page, some of just like Gundam group pages on YouTube, some of them do allow you to post about that stuff. So I mean, if you're looking for a certain kit, you can always just throw up a post on one of those and say, hey, I'm looking for this kit. And rather than like finding on eBay where you're going to be paying, because if it's like a kit that's been out of print, somebody might be selling on eBay for like double, triple MSRP because it's rare. Whereas if you can find someone, you know, in your local community that has the kit and is willing to part with it, I mean, some people are greedy, but hopefully you would hope that they might be willing to sell you the kit for, you know, not too much profit at cost or whatever they paid for it, or maybe a little bit of profit, probably better than what you would pay on eBay. Yeah, about the zoo, Chris. Yes, that, and we had plans to go to a different zoo, like the local zoo in the town where my parents live. We had plans to visit that zoo like a couple days later, so we thought we don't really need necessarily to go to two different zoos, so might as well take a break from the heat and not go to the Lincoln Park Zoo. And we just went to like our local zoo, which was a little bit disappointing. It's in like it was a kind of smaller town, and so it's never been like a huge zoo, but it definitely wasn't in the best of shape. So it was unfortunate. Still, like, plenty fun enough for the kids, and there was good stuff for them to see. And they have the whole petting zoo, and pet and feed some of the animals there, and then also koi pond. You can't pet the fish, but you can feed the fish there and everything too. So there's plenty of stuff for them to enjoy. Yes, the zoo was a shadow of its former self. That's for sure. All right. Coming along with obviously the arms are done. It's kind of been like speeding through now, as you can tell. But yeah, the arms are done, and then just kind of going through the legs now, which are pretty straightforward. And like I said, not my first time building this kit, in essence, so it's all pretty familiar. Although I did forget about this part, didn't I? Or it goes on right there. Wait. just goes in there like that. It's kind of loose though, but all right. Anyway, yeah, the Lfrith, I gotta say, for being, this is obviously a version of that, but the Lfrith generally, the original one, being the first kit out in the line, still one of my favorites in the line, gotta say. I'm gonna do speedrun building. I'm not exactly sure what you mean precisely by speedrun building, but I mean, it's not something that generally I have any plans to do, or I'm not even sure what, like I said, exactly what you mean, and depending on what you mean, what the format of that might be, as in like something I would do at some sort of live event or anything else, I don't know about. No, it's not anything I have plans to do, but if you have a suggestion as like something that you would think that you think would be fun content that you would like to watch, or just some kind of idea, I'm always open to your guys' ideas. So yeah, feel free to explain a bit more, and it's something I'll absolutely consider. Yes. Nail polish can be used, but a dedicated joint fixer will be a better solution. Oh, is that for weak joints? Oh, what is it? Is there a way to fix my entry grade Strike Gundam's loose elbow joint? Yeah, I mean, you can use a wide number of different products for fixing loose joints. I've heard people that say they just use a little bit of tissue paper. It kind of depends on how much space you have in the joint too, because like tissue paper would be something that if you have enough space, you could just, jam a little bit of tissue paper in there. But like if it's a joint that maybe doesn't have much space for that, that might not fit without it sticking out, and then you have just like some tissue sticking out of your Gundam's elbow, look a bit strange. But you can use, glue, any kind of glue. Sometimes I'll just use a little bit of extra thin cement on like if it's a peg, just paint a little bit extra thin cement on it. That will like barely increase like the size of the peg, basically, is what you're trying to do. Otherwise, you can use, if it's a more extreme example, you can use super glue. Super glue will definitely add a lot more friction on it. But yeah, a lot of things. Nail polish you can do too. With any kind of like, with anything that has any kind of like solvent in it. So like depends on what type of nail polish you're talking about, but like nail polish or any kind of paint, just be careful not to use too much. So that's the only thing I would say. There are stickers for the eyes, which I'm not going to use, just because the part is already green. And usually in that case, if the part is already like a pre-molded, a different color part, that's usually how I like to present it to you guys. And that's the case for both the eyes and the head camera. The back camera, though, is not molded. It's not a green part, so we'll go ahead and throw this little sticker here on the back of the head. Here we go. There's our head. As usual, really nice design for the head. And you do have the parts to make the original version of the head if you wanted to. Here. So that's cool too. I think it should work anyway. I would imagine so. Although if you guys know differently, you can correct me now before I embarrass myself in the review and saying that, yeah, you can make the original head, sure. Although when it comes to kits like this, I mean, people always ask, and it seems like people always want to know, like on a P-Banai kit like this or whatever, I'll always have like questions in the comments of the review, like, can you make the original head with that kit? It's like, if you're buying this as a P-Banai like variation, why are you interested in making the original head? I think people just are curious or just want to know, or maybe just want to be able to make like an alternate color version of the Lfrith or something, or in that case, like I would recommend, you can always just paint the original kit, but people want to know, so I usually like to include that information, although it is kind of mysterious to me why people are sometimes curious about that. I guess it's sort of good to know, I guess. It's kind of like covering a kit's articulation in the review. For me, I kind of like don't really feel I really need to cover the articulation in detail in reviews, and sometimes I do in more detail than others. Sometimes I just kind of quickly gloss over it, sort of, because ultimately I'm going to show you guys some different poses and stuff with the kit, so you should be able to just like tell from seeing the different poses, basically the extent of the articulation. If there's a particular like elbow joint, and in the poses of the kit that I'm showing off to you guys, I only ever bend the elbow to, let's say 45, 60 degrees, but in fact the elbow has the capability of bending 75 degrees. I'm not sure if that's something that's really going to make too much of a difference for some people when it comes to whether they want to buy the kit, or if they want to buy the kit, what they want to do with the kit. Like, oh, I wanted to buy it, but I didn't know that the kit actually had that additional 15 to 20% of extension range on its elbow. I don't know if that's something that is really that crucial information. But nevertheless, I do it for your guys' sake. Generally, like I said, sometimes I don't do it too much. For the open gun bits, there's green and red stickers. I'm thinking that it makes more sense for them to be red, right? I guess when they're like open and active like that. And these stickers seem to be the same size, but they seem to actually fit in here a little bit better. As I was mentioning earlier on in the stream, you have the stickers on the gun bits in the backpack, and the stickers were not really the best fit. They were a little bit slightly too large, but these ones seem to be exactly right, which is odd. All right. I also have these other couple little white stickers, which are going to go somewhere. I'm not sure where do those go. These little white stickers, number 7 and 8. Oh, yeah, those go on the sides of the knee. Right. It's just like with the original kit. Okay. All right. We'll just throw those on here in just a second. Let's get these in here. There's one. Hello there. Hello. Steb, Fire Zero Saber, and Yuhan. Hey guys, or gals. I use not guys, not as a male. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but just in the non-gender specific way. Hi guys. That's what I mean. Anyway. Any new regular release Gunpla you're gonna review soon? Yeah, a lot of the Gunpla that's been out lately has been P-Banai, and I think most of the Gunpla that I have in my queue at the moment is unfortunately P-Banai, but let's see. I feel like there was another kit that just came out recently that I'm gonna be reviewing soon. Where'd it go though? Oh, it was like right around here. There's the new the Seed Freedom version of the Gyan, which I can't remember the name of right now, but there's that. That's probably going to be the next one. I also have the Huckabane Mark III, although it's not Gunpla. I mean, it's pretty close. So I have the Huckabane Mark III. I'm going to be building and reviewing pretty soon. Oh, and the Standard Stein, of course. So mine is on the way at the moment, even though here at USA Gundam Store, our stock of the Standard Stein did arrive, but mine is actually a little bit later in this case, which is sometimes the case, sometimes opposite. It just kind of depends. Sometimes stuff arrives from Bandai here to USA Gundam very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But yeah, so in this case, I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. I think it may arrive probably next week. I haven't checked the tracking on it, but probably next week. And I've got other stuff that I'm working on and trying to get done this week. So trying to get the Gojoless parts ready so that we can do part 2 of the Gojoless live build tomorrow, hopefully. That's the main thing. And then obviously, of course, I'm also working on my own old to gold entry. So, and then I need to finish the Master Grade narrative Gundam as well. So I was gonna plan on working on that, but then I decided I wanted to do an old to gold build, and I wanted to get started on the old to gold build straight away, because my hope is that, you know, by showing you guys my work in progress on the old to gold build, it's maybe helpful for other people who are also working on entries, maybe to see kind of like how I'm doing certain things, and some people who maybe if it's their first time working on a kit like this, they might find the work in progress videos helpful. So that's why I wanted to get started on this old to gold build like right away, and why I postponed finishing my Master Grade narrative Gundam custom build. So I'll have to come back to that. But the problem with setting projects aside and coming back to them is then that other projects come up, and there's always new stuff coming up, and then those ones that are set aside tend to stay aside. That's the danger. So anyway, here's the Lfrith pre-production model. Very cool. Definitely, I like the color scheme as well. Very reminiscent of honestly, like the Gundam Mark V, also the Roselle. So yeah, has these guys there that can pop up there like that. And yeah, I mean, it's the head is cool. It does seem a little, it seems like it's missing something without any kind of V-fin or anything at all. It definitely gives it more of like a grunt look, but like everything else about the design doesn't seem like a grunt. Everything else about the design still seems like a Gundam, but the head seems like a grunt kind of type head, just because of the fact that it doesn't have any kind of antenna on it. So you may opt to want to use like the original parts for the Lfrith head, just to give it that little bit more of like a Gundam look to it. It's up to you. But anyway, that's a wrap on that one. Let's go ahead and get to the Gine Standard armor. Not to be confused with any other version of the G line, which I believe there are other different versions. It's not it's a pretty obscure mobile suit, so it's not one that I have a ton of knowledge about, to be honest. It's from a game or something, is that right? If I remember correctly. Who the hell knows? But it's cool design, and that's all I care about, so that's why we're gonna check it out here. I visited an online shop with the Mighty Strike Freedom in stock, only to get out of stock after not even a week. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Hey, sorry to bother you. I want to, okay. Yeah, so ignore those of you who are on Twitch. Ignore the spam there. Sorry about that. I could try to remove that, but kind of can't be bothered at the moment, as long as it's not something that's going to be like blowing up the chat there. I'm just going to ignore it for right now. But let me know if it gets out of hand over there on Twitch. All right. At least I'm assuming that it's spam. I guess it could be a real person. Sometimes there's real people. There could be someone who's actually looking to reach out to, I don't know, as an attempt to try to help with whatever. Anyway. All right. Oh, well, that's not right. Hang on. Forgot the clear part. So we got a sticker for the eyes and then a clear part for like a visor that fits over that. So the eyes are going to be hardly visible, but they are visible inside there. And as for the head, I think I can figure this out. Oh, trying to put this part on. That's the wrong way. That's why that's not working. Okay. There we go. And we are going to have one of my favorite things to see on an HG. I mean, again, this is not something that's like a real make or break kind of thing for me, but it's always nice to see an HG kit that has part separated Vulcans on the head. This is something else too that I've talked about in a number of different reviews and of recent kits from Bandai, is that a lot of Bandai's recent kits, you can tell they really put a lot of effort into making the heads in particular, the color separation really good in the heads, because the head's always going to be like the focal point that, you know, you're really paying the most attention to when you look at a build or look at a kit, whatever. And so they really, you can tell, put a lot of effort into small parts to make the color separation really good on a head. And that's definitely the case with this one too. And I like to see the color separated. I could zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit better here. The color separated Vulcans there. So that is a separate part. Very nice. And even the little kind of like a dark blue part kind of on the underside of the visor there as well. That could have very easily just been all a white part there. But the fact that that little part underneath there in dark blue is really nice. And then of course you have the big red parts on the side you would expect, but some of those other smaller details are not necessarily expected, but a nice feature. So that's cool. And I should tell you guys too, as far as this build goes, I'm going to be building up as like the kind of standard unarmored build at first, and I'll be kind of building the armor parts to the extent that I can at the moment, but then it's like a whole process of putting some of the parts on. You have to like swap out some of the parts and everything. So I won't do that during the live build here, but I'll do that during the review. So all right. This kit does not have polycaps, but it has some parts which are exactly like polycaps. They're just not in that same polycap material. So just a heads up on that. Oops. How are you building without the instructions? I have the instructions right here, right in front of me. You guys just can't see the instructions. Oh, and the camera's frozen, isn't it? Okay. That happens from time to time. Yes, I have the instructions off screen, so we'll give that a second. Sometimes my, let's see, I'm gonna switch here. Put me on the big screen here for a minute. Sometimes my camera needs a little break. And yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Huh? That's odd. Well, I guess that's right. It's kind of putting this part on here. There's an odd gap. I guess that makes for, oh, okay. I guess makes, well, we'll see. It would appear there's kind of a gap in putting the neck part on, which will allow for additional neck articulation, I think. But let's wait until we have everything all put together here. I could be wrong if that part ends up getting like locked into place by a different piece. then we might not have that. Yeah, okay, yeah. As soon as I put the next piece on there, that's locked into place. So never mind. But yeah, like I was mentioning with the head, the torso here as well, which I'll show you guys once my camera's off break. The color separation, part separation on this is very nice. Astounding, amazing, as our good friend, what's his name? Jesse Lee Peterson would say. You guys Jesse Lee Peterson fans? I'm sure not, but what I'm hoping is that at least one of you guys at least knows vaguely who I'm talking about and will get that joke, but there's always that hope anyway. Sometimes I know I throw out some obscure references that are not going to be picked up on by anybody, but I'm always glad when at least one person picks up on my references. Amazing. All right, let's see. My camera, well, I'm going to replace the battery. I think that might help too. Seems like the battery passed away. Metal slime got it there, it looks like. Jesse Lee Peterson. He's kind of one of those guys that it's hard to imagine that anybody like that actually exists, you know? But they're out there. And it truly is amazing. All right, here we go. What? Wait, hang on. What is going on with this now? Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay, there we go. I have that's more like it. The wrong setting. So I knew it was out of focus. I'm trying to figure out why it's upside down and everything else was suddenly missing. There we go. Do you use God hand nippers or regular nippers? I use the USA Gundam Store nippers. Not only because, I work here, but also they're good nippers. Yeah, I had a pair of God hands and I just never really used them. Yeah. Sometimes my dad jokes don't land. I mean, like, yeah, dad jokes, that's fine. A dad joke is a dad joke, and it kind of, by design, doesn't necessarily need to land. But it's nice when people catch my obscure references. I appreciate it. So I'm glad. There was another one recently that I mentioned something in a review or something like that, and wasn't expecting anyone to get it. And then there's always one comment. It seems like there's always at least one person that's gonna pick up on the references. So that's good. Someone did get it. I don't remember what it was. I had to go back and look, but that's nice. And we do have one of the most unfortunate stickers in Gunpla history. I'm always one to defend the stickers to a degree, in that, like, you have some people in the community who will just like treat stickers like the dumbest thing in Gunpla. And like, as soon as you get your kit, as soon as you open up the box, like, a real builder just throws their stickers in the trash immediately. This kind of thing, and like, it's dumb to use stickers or keep stickers, and anything related to the stickers is just for total noobs. But I, will always defend stickers as, perfectly viable to use if you're not planning on painting the kit, if you're just wanting to add some of the details. Stickers are fine. But that said, one of the worst stickers to ever exist is always these little V stickers there for the little yellow V in the crotch of some of like the EFSF mobile suits. It's just awful because it's such a tiny little design detail that's really difficult to get the sticker in place, and it never really looks good. So that's why I'm very glad to see on a small number of kits that actually have that as a color separated part. Oh, excuse me. Tyson asked, how's Mrs. Aurelius? Doing okay, but still has to start her radiation treatment. And we've just, like, for the past month almost, we've just trying to get her scheduled for radiation. It's been such a pain in the ass because the hospital that we're trying to get her scheduled for, like, we had to get a referral from a primary care physician. We didn't have a primary care physician, so we had to get a primary care physician to get the referral and get that sent to the hospital, but it was sent to the wrong department. And that department apparently couldn't send it to the other department, so we had to get the primary care physician to send it again to the correct department, and then trying to then get that department to get her on the schedule, but they have to then approve it with their insurance approval process. And then now that was approved, and now the person who does the scheduling is out sick with COVID, and apparently they don't have anyone to fill in for, or they do, but that person's in a different building, and it's been such a pain in the ass. So sorry, I didn't mean to put that up on the screen there, but anyway. Stickers free masking. Yes, that's another great use for stickers. Yes, you can use them for masking too. I only just found out a couple weeks ago that USA Gundam is in Florida. I need to go. Central Florida is dry on Gunpla. Yeah, there's a couple. There is another store around. I mean, like a much smaller store, but there is like another like small brick and mortar store around in Orlando, around somewhere. There is a there's like a Central Florida Gunpla Builders Discord, I believe, that I'm a part of, that I'm not very active in, because I'm not very active even in my own Discord, unfortunately. But there is one, Metal Slime, if you're not aware of it. I'm not sure how you would find out about it. Well, let me see here. I can tell you the name more precisely. I'll try to. Here we go. Yeah, it's just Central Florida Gunpla Builders on Discord. The worst stickers are the round one that are supposed to fit on a raised surface. Yeah, it depends on the size. Sometimes, like on the Lfrith, just had some of those little round stickers that fit over like a small little rounded detail. Sometimes they work like fine, well enough. And sometimes, yeah, they don't look quite right, because then the stickers are usually cut to account for the roundedness. It's really not the right word, but yeah, Chris Jones. Yeah, healthcare in the U.S. is an absolute nightmare. As someone with a sickly spouse, is a constant struggle. I mean, yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. The system is just very, very bad. It's not streamlined for anything in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. And I mean, like, it's hard to know who to blame. I mean, because, you know, I would say probably who I would want to blame would be insurance companies. Because, I mean, yeah, any like hospital or clinic or whatever, doctor's office, you know, they don't want to do anything. Well, okay, yeah, I would say it's insurance companies and injury, like personal injury law firms and stuff like that. Like how pervasive, like how extremely litigious America has become, that people sue for anything and everything. You know, that contributes to what makes insurance so bad, because hospitals and doctors' offices and stuff need, you know, to have good insurance coverage, and they need to make sure that everything's covered so that they don't get sued. And, you know, and then there's just a lot of contributing factors. But yeah, it just makes everything a mess and makes everything such a pain. So yeah, unfortunately, doesn't really seem to be, any good way to go about it. But yeah, I'm happy maybe with just blaming Morgan and Morgan. That'd be somewhere where I can place the blame that I'd feel confident in, knowing that they're not solely to blame. But I'm happy to blame Morgan and Morgan, I guess. This is interesting. The shoulder armor, or more accurately, lack of shoulder armor here for the kind of light armor version of the G line here. Also, cool that this kit, at least as far as I can tell, I think, I mean, depending on what what stage of armor you want to build the kit as, that you don't have any leftover parts. With a lot of P-Banai kits, because a lot of them being based on variations or whatever, you have leftover parts. Of course, this one you do not at all, which is nice. So that's cool. I'm impressed with the quality of the HG Seed Freedom this year. Oh yeah, I mean, the HG Seed Freedom kits, whether you like the designs or not, that's what I've been saying in all of my reviews, that no matter what you think of the designs, the kits are absolutely amazing. The kits are fantastic. So cannot recommend them enough for you guys. If there's any designs that you're even remotely interested in, I would definitely recommend checking out some of the HG Seed Freedom kits. And a lot of them just because of, I don't know, the nature of Seed being popular, but maybe not necessarily like the most popular all the time. Chances are, at some point or another, some or all of those kits will be on some kind of different sales and things like that. So, if you are not really super sold on some of the designs, but you're curious just because you've heard people like me singing the praises of those kits, I mean, you should be able to get them on sale at some point too. It'd be another good way to go about it, to try out something that you may or may not necessarily be in love with, but you're interested in trying out, kind of thing. So yeah, give it a go. What have you got to lose? Oh no, you're stuck with a great quality kit. That's a wrap on arm number 2, which went together pretty quickly there, as you could see. And from there, we can move on to our arm number 3, otherwise known as the legs. All right. Will you continue painting the painting tutorial series? Oh, we'll end with part 3. So, George, yeah, that painting series that I did on painting with spray cans, that series is done. I am going to do another series on how to paint with airbrush. That won't continue with like parts 4, 5, and 6. It'll be separate, so it'll be like part 1, part 2, part 3 again, probably, with painting with airbrush. Possibly even just only part 1 and 2, but probably to part 3, I guess. Yeah, I need to do that as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of work to do, but yes. What grit of sanding sponge do you use on Megami Device skin tone parts? So it depends. But you would want to keep it pretty light, though. I mean, you wouldn't want to use anything too abrasive. So I wouldn't use anything more than like 600 grit. Or like number-wise, I wouldn't use anything less than 600 grit. As in nothing rougher than that, like 200, 400. Would be too rough for most anything. I mean, if you're using, depends on what your process is for removing nubs. I don't use sanding sticks for that. But I mean, if you do, then yeah, I mean, maybe you use like 400 grit for sanding down your nubs, I guess maybe. But, other than that, just for like your general with the sanding of, yeah, whether if you're like wanting to remove a mold line or a seam line or something, I'd say 600 to 800 grit should be fine. Yeah, even up to 1,000. 1,000's like pretty smooth. 1,000, anything like 1,000 or higher is more like for like finishing work. So like to really kind of start to smooth it out, to finish it, to get it ready for paint, whatever, if you're going to be painting, or if you're just trying to get a nice finish unpainted. So yeah, you can definitely go up to 1,000 and higher for that. Usually kind of around 600 or 800 is kind of the range of sandpaper that I'm using 90% of the time, 95% of the time, most of the time. Yeah. There's some rare occasions where I will maybe want to use like 1,000 grit, or some rare occasions where I may want to use like a 200 grit. But if it's something that I like really need that that abrasiveness, the power of 200 grit, then I would probably opt to just use a file at that point, a metal file. If it's something like, you know, I really need to like really go to town on. But yeah, and then for like again, for like 1,000 grit or anything higher than like that, for like finishing work, I'm usually not really building stuff, or like the builds that I'm doing are usually not ones that require like a super crispy, clean finish. I mean, like if you're doing like something with a metallic paint job or pearl paint job or something like that, or you wanted like a really like hyper clean build, then yeah, you would want to use like at least 1,000 grit, if not maybe 1,200 or 1,400 grit, to, you know, get your surface as smooth and clean as possible. Yeah, but well, a lot of the work that I do is clean builds. I'm not always going for like the super hyper clean, just because it's just personal preference. Your tutorial really answered a lot of my questions about prep work and painting, why sanding, why I remove seams, why build first and then disassemble. Thank you for awesome content. You're welcome. Yeah, that's one important thing about tutorial type of content, and why for me, like you see, like there's a lot of great content, and this is not in any way disparaging this type of content at all, but you'll see like content on YouTube of like some really awesome builds from some really talented builders, but the content is just showing and not necessarily so much like explaining the process. And that's what I try to do, like when I do like tutorial stuff that's like strictly meant to be kind of tutorial in nature, or just like a work in progress that also just kind of features some, I mean, just from my work in progress videos, I mean, I hope that it also kind of works as a kind of tutorial, or at least showing, okay, here's how you can do this, or here's how I'm doing this, and you know. But yeah, I definitely like to kind of not only show the process, but explain, you know, why you do this. That's definitely something that's been very helpful for me, learning things from other builders. And so I'm grateful that that's picked up on by some people. Yeah, so I appreciate that. Because it's really important to not only know how to do different techniques, but why do them, especially when it comes to like, well, in all stages, I guess. I was going to say, especially when it comes to weathering and things like that, which is not my strong point at all. It's not my forte, but it is something that's definitely really important when it comes to weathering. But in prep work as well, too. Like you're saying, like sanding, what was the other thing that you mentioned? Anyway, other prep work, sanding, removing seam lines, yes, assembly and disassembly before painting. important steps for reasons. And if you're aware of the reasons, then you're kind of more aware of, why some of these steps are important and what you can gain as a builder and what you stand to gain ultimately in your build by following these steps. So I think that's our G line for the most part. Really cool design. I mean, I'm honestly tempted to get to another one of this kit just to have like one in this more very skeletal form here, and this form, which is, what's the correct name of the form here? I should be precise. Just the G line, yes. And then you can build it as the G line standard armor, and then the G line standard armor Gatling Smasher, which is basically with the backpack on it. So gonna build these parts up here as well, but for the moment, let's see. Not gonna add the parts onto the kit, so I'm just gonna keep the kit like this for now, and then in the review, of course, I'll show you guys with everything added on. Okay, perfect. So that is this one, right? Okay. It's kind of two different versions of the backpack here as well. Interestingly enough. One that's got hyper mega thrusters and one that's just got little baby thrusters. What's the difference between the two? One's the normal type. Okay, yeah, one's the high mobility type. So there you go. Got our beam sabers here as well. I'm gonna go for, well, we'll go for just the normal type here to start off. Just finished the Megami Device Buster Doll Tank. Do you think Kotobukiya is going to make a second line in this series, not just the different color variants they announced? Don't know, Patrick. I don't know, and I've not heard anything about that. Knowing Kotobukiya, I mean, I'm sure they got all sorts of different plans, because obviously they know where their bread is buttered with those kits. I need to get caught up on the Buster Doll kits. I've only so far built the first one. I think they have 4 of them out, so I need to get caught up on those and the Megalomaria kits too. I think, Patrick, I know you've been a fan of a lot of the different Megami Device kits and stuff, but have you tried out the Megalomaria series yet? Be curious. I would recommend it, but that one as well. I've only built the first one so far, and there's 4 of them out now, and possibly even 5. All Gunpla has 100 scale variant. I want 100 scale. Oh, make all, yes. Yes, he was saying that he wants 100 scale variants of all of those. Yeah. 100 scale Far Act, I mean, sure would be cool. I mean, I'm open for anything. Godessa would be a cool one, though. I'm a big fan of the Godessa design. That would be really awesome. Either Master Grade or a Reborn 100, or no, it wouldn't be Reborn. It would be Full Mechanics. A Full Mechanics Godessa would be awesome. Would love that. But yeah, to Hasaki's point, the Gundam 7th, yes. So I know that there's some design similarities, especially in the shield and the beam rifle with the Gundam 7th and the G line. Are they related in the story? Like I said, I don't really know too much about the background of this particular mobile suit, so I'm not sure, but I can tell that some of the parts certainly look very similar. And yeah, that's another older HG kit that I have a lot of love for. The Full Armor Gundam 7th, fantastic kit. It's a bit older, but it holds up really well. If you guys ever get a chance to check out that kit, I highly recommend it. Really cool design, and yeah, the kit holds up nicely. Check it out. This is the shoulder armor. Like I said, just for the moment, just kind of putting it together, and then I'll put it actually on the kit in the review. It's not really too much left for the sake of this live stream. There's not really too much left really to actually build and put together. Just kind of putting together these parts, which will later go onto the Gundam in full. Or not Gundam, I guess. Mobile suit, right? It's not a Gundam, but... same setting, timeline, incident. Okay, yeah, so kind of same... They're from the same side story, I guess you would say, right? Or, I mean, I don't know. Side story, is that right? Or... yes. Something like that. This part is the additional knee armor there. Then this part is additional armor for the back of the leg. Here, additional armor and verniers. There at the back of the leg. And for the side of the leg, try not to miss where these stickers are going to go as well. There's a couple of additional stickers that need to be added on somewhere. Well, I'm not entirely clear yet where. We'll figure it out. There are some really good old HGs that stack up super well even today. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. The Goplant is another one that I'm always singing the praises of. There's these alternate chest parts here, which you just have to later swap out these gray parts on there for these blue parts there in the chest. And then here's where some of the stickers are going to go. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss any on like the main kit. I think most of them go on like the armor parts. Looks to be that way. Okay. Oh, missed this one here too. Ankle armor. Oop. So basically, like, you just build the main kit, then you put together like all these other different sections of armor, and then kind of everything kind of then goes together here on these armor parts for the sides of the legs, where we got a couple more stickers here. P-Banai MG Cluster Gundam is coming from F90. Oh, has that been announced? I'm not sure if I've seen about that. Sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I think this is where the other stickers I was curious about go here on this part of the leg too, it looks like. Right? Yeah. Okay. That is right. Sticker 5. Ugh. If I can get this on here. There we go. Straight. Like that. I'm going to need to kind of work that sticker into place a bit there. We'll come back to that. Oof. Gotta be careful with that. From the Gundam Ace cover. Oh. Yeah, I do now that's sounding more familiar anyway. I would still have to go back and look at that. Yeah, so I can't divulge, I guess, specifically why I'm thinking this, but I will tell you guys something. There was something recently that happened that I can't go into detail about, but there was something recently that happened which makes me think that Bandai is at least aware of the fact that they're kind of losing out on the market. Excuse me. Kind of losing out a bit on the market of 1/100 scale mecha models, in particular by like not making so many 100 scale models, they're RE100 or full mechanics or master grades. I think it's something that which I always just kind of assumed that they just weren't really too worried about it. That Bandai basically, you know, they're making all this other stuff, which is selling perfectly well. And, you know, if there's people that are concerned about the lack of master grades, I mean, my sense has just been that just Bandai just doesn't really care because they're making plenty of money. So, you know, it doesn't really matter much to them. And I would assume that they're still making plenty of money. But yeah, something recently does kind of make me believe that at least here in the US side, and then maybe they're passing that information on to the Japan side, makes me think that they're realizing, oh, there's seems to be a lot of interest in these 1/100 scale master grade type of kits that we're not really making too many of anymore. So maybe in the future we might see that kind of swinging back to, probably not going to be like the old, like in the aughts when we were getting like 7, 8 new master grades per year. I don't think we're going to be getting anything like that, but I don't know. You could see, based on public interest from you guys, Bandai might hopefully be kind of getting back to making some more 100 scale stuff, is my hope. So yeah, because of third-party 100 scale stuff, I mean, yeah, sort of like again, I can't like say exactly. I mean, because the third-party 100 scale stuff has been around for a few years and kind of has been growing in popularity, but there was like something in particular lately that kind of is why I'm saying this. Anyway, yeah, so that could be good news, hopefully, for those of you guys who are lamenting the lack of 100 scale models from Bandai in recent years. So we shall see. But for the time being, it's my suspicion anyway that they're paying attention to it now. You know, better late than never. So we're pretty much done here with the build, almost. Just kind of got a few bits left. This is the, what was it? Gatling Smasher on the back. Just kind of finishing up here. And let's see, this part's specifically one particular way. Not that one. Like this. And this. For the left and the right side are different, of course. That's gonna fit into like that. Okay. And on the backpack, wait, what? Okay. Got it. That's like that. And this one here. Oh, right? Yes. Right? Huh? Wait. What? Oh, okay. All right. That's not the right part. Darn. So we started off the first section that I built. I made a mistake with the part. And for the last section we're working on, I made a mistake with the part. So, okay. We come full circle there. This part here for the backpack, I could tell the couple of parts there were specific, and the other side is also specific. All right. Anyway. All right. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the return of the RE100 line, even though the full mechanics is the same thing. But I mean, I would just like to see, yes, Bandai make another UC release. And again, it's never, as far as I've seen, never been stated as a fact from Bandai that RE100 is for UC releases and full mechanics is for non-UC releases. But I mean, that's obviously the way that it's been so far. What's this part? This is for the chest, or what's this part doing here? It's not meant to be here. Hang on. Where's this part go again? It obviously goes somewhere, but don't know where. Oh yeah, it does go on the top of the backpack. Right, that's what I thought, but it's kind of like a different part there. Okay, anyway. There's, oh, well, let me put the fuel tanks on here as well. Love that this has backpack fuel tanks very similar to the Gundam 04 and 05, and then has the shield and rifle very similar to the Gundam 7th. Kind of cool. Utilizing some design aspects of some of the later models in the RX-78 line, RX-78 line, I guess I should say. Shadow's back, right? You're back for the grand finale here. Just finishing up the rifle and shield here for the G line. And then it's just going to be, oof, that part's not going to come out of there very easily. Oh well. Beam rifle there, very nice. And actually, let's see. The problem with putting my instructions here is that I also have like my brushes there sticking out. So sometimes the brushes sticking out do get in the way of the instruction manual. Okay. Just going to put our trigger finger hand here that we have, just going to put that right onto the rifle because there's nothing else you're going to use the trigger finger hand for other than for holding that rifle. So might as well just be right on there. Shield going to be pretty simple here. Bing, bang, boom. And you're fired, Ed. There you go. Connection piece. And there you go. That's a wrap, as they say. never a fan of shields that attach on the back side of the arm, especially when they attach on the back side of the arm and then like stick out really far. But that's what we got here. Seems like that's the way that it goes. I wish that we had. I always wish in these cases they had a shield connector piece which would like go like wrap around the side and back of the arm that will allow you to plug the shield either onto the back or onto the side. That's my dream and that's what I prefer, but it's not always what we get. So there you go. What's that the Rolling Stones used to sing about? Can't always get what you want, right? There you go. Isn't that the truth? So that's it for the G line. Very cool kit from what I can see of it so far. I'm looking forward to adding the rest of the armor and everything on there. But like I said, it's one that I would definitely be interested in getting multiples of because it's cool to have it just in this kind of standard form too. That said, if you're planning to keep it like this, there's a lot of parts that you're going to have left over that, I mean, like you could use them for kit bashing material. Yeah, I guess some parts more than others, but some of those parts I think you would probably have a little bit of a hard time adapting onto other kits, but sure, yeah, kit bashing material. Why not? Anyway, thank you guys. Like I said before, in case you missed it, I mentioned that I'm trying to have the parts ready to live build part 2 of the Zoids HMM Gojaless kit for tomorrow afternoon. I'm not sure I'll have everything ready in time, but I'm going to try. So if I can, I look forward to that. Otherwise, whether I have the Gojaless ready for live building part 2 of that tomorrow or not, and I should say that part 2 is not going to be finishing the build. We still will then have to do a part 3 as well to finish it. But part 2 will cover the tail of the Gojaless, the arms, and the backpack thruster parts anyway. I do have the cannons as well. That'll be in part 3. Anyway, whether that happens tomorrow or not, there will be a live stream tomorrow, absolutely, and that's going to be with me and the 2 guest judges for the Old to Gold contest, Brian and George. We're going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, probably around 1 p.m. EST, and that is going to be we're just going to talk a little bit about the contest, kind of how it's going so far, what our expectations are for the contest, and just kind of chat a bit. In case you guys are not really familiar with George or Brian, it gives you guys an opportunity to kind of get to know them a little bit better, I guess, too, in the stream. So look forward to that tomorrow. A live stream with them, and if everything works out, I'll work on the Gojaless as a separate live stream, but like immediately following that tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know. Just watch social media tomorrow morning. Midday, morning. Yes, I'll let you know about it. And until then, any news on Josh Dara? There is some news with Josh Dara, but not anything, I mean, just like in his private life that I can't share publicly. But as far as Josh appearing here on the channel, unfortunately, no. I talked with him a couple weeks ago, but we tend to talk like every couple months or so. We just talk on the phone privately. It's hard to get him in a live stream on the channel just because of the time difference and our schedules being different and everything too. So unfortunately, that's very difficult. But I will always try to, if possible, get Josh back on. But anyway, yep, you missed it, Raja, but you can feel free to go back and check it out. He's doing well anyway. Yes, Josh is doing well and still an awesome guy, and would love to have him back here on the channel when possible. So we shall see. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.